Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction Renovation magazine. That's what it used to look like when it was in print. Actually, this was the last issue I did in August of 2021. VP Construction White Castle, their biggest restaurant they had ever done. It was an awesome story. You know what? I miss this magazine in print, but it looks awesome on the web. I'm a digital guy these days. You can still get it printed if you want, print on demand. So I'm technically not 100%, but 99.9% digital. But man, it never looked so good. This was a great issue. So thanks for finding us on the web. It's towards the end of the week here in the ATL. Got my colors on tonight. We're playing the Panthers. Falcons tied for first place at an ugly 4-5 underneath 500 with the Bucks down in Tampa. And if we win tonight, we're in first place. So it's you got to support the local teams. It's just one of those things. Georgia won this weekend. Number one, probably going to go with the SEC championship. Probably play LSU, and because they beat Bama, that was an awesome game. And all in all, can't complain. You got hockey season starting. You got the NBA. Lacrosse season is going to start here soon with the indoor 3 weeks from now. Go Georgia Swarm, buzz. And of course, I went to University of Denver. So we're ranked number 2 in the country. We split with St. Cloud, and we're in that NCHC, division now. So we're playing. We're going on the road to North Dakota Hawks. And that's our big rival. Actually, when I was in school, it was they were called the Sioux, but they changed it to the Hawks. That political gig. But anyway, it's a big rivalry. So hopefully the Piles will go out there in North Dakota and take it and stay number 2. And it's a very, very competitive league. And actually, we won the national championship, so we're trying to defend it and put it number 10. In the trophy case at the athletic center. So go Pios. Anyway, hope everyone's finishing the week off on a positive note. Election's over for some of you. With me, we're still here. I got to go through the runoff. December 6th, you're gonna vote for the Senate, and we'll figure out. May the best man win. I just have to go through another month of commercial after commercial after commercial. Wherever I am, YouTube, radio, TV, it's just endless. I just, what a waste of money. If you don't know who you're going to vote for by now, you certainly you're going to know by now. So they could put that money to such better use, but that's the way it is. I don't control the system. I'm just the messenger. So I'll just go hold my nose again and go vote, exercise my right, and, be a good patriot and, do what I need to do. But it was nice to see all the people out there early in the morning and voting election day on Wednesday. And, you got to go. And if you didn't vote, just remember, you can't complain. OK, you got to vote to have a voice. So everybody out there in Georgia, let's make sure you're registered so you can vote December 6th, runoff, and have a party, because then it's over for another, God knows how long, I guess another 2 years. So who knows? Anyway, enough of the election. Got a gentleman. He's on the road. He's in Boston, Massachusetts, up there in Beantown, one of my favorite towns. Got a lot of buds still up there. And his name is Mattie Mead. He's the founder and CEO of Hempitecture. And did I get that right, Matt?
You got that right.
Okay. And they manufacture building products out of hemp. And with sustainability and the whole gig with construction, I figured it would be a good time to, have Mattie on, to touch base on, how they're, incorporating hemp into, construction and, and other sectors of, the business economy. So Mattie, and he's actually out of Idaho, but he's in Beantown, on the Whirlwind Tour. So Mattie, say hello from, I guess, downtown Boston, correct?
I'm in the heart of downtown Boston right now. I think I'm on the fourth, maybe fifth floor of a hotel room. David, I'm so glad to be here with you. Thanks for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. I will say, though, you're making me feel left out because you have so many sports teams to root for, and I'm an Idaho guy. We got nothing. We have no
Hey, you
sports
got the
team.
Bron you got the Broncos. Come on, they got the blue
Oh,
field, the Albertson Field. It's like
Oh, well, that's college football, and college football in Idaho rules because that's the biggest thing we got. There is a hockey team, though, the Steelheads, named after the steelhead trout, I
yeah, I was
believe,
gonna say a fish. Uh-huh.
the fish that make their way up the Salmon River. But you, as an Idahoan, you get to kind of pick and choose your sports team. I'm from New Jersey originally. I often don't tell people that because I
I
tell
am from
people,
Philly, so it's okay. But you don't have a
okay,
twang. Where did it go?
all right, yep. I don't know what happened to the Phillies there, but
Yeah, yeah. All my friends were texting me, this and that. When the Braves got knocked out, I was like, whatever. And listen, Philly was going crazy. The Phillies were in the World Series. The Eagles are still undefeated. And who knows what the Flyers will do in the Fixers. That's all just starting. And they got the Philadelphia Wings too. That's a lacrosse team, indoor lacrosse team there too. So but Idaho, I love watching the Broncos because they got the blue field and they always have the guys in the end zone in the Elvis costumes, man. It's classic. How
it's
could
class.
I always watch the late games, if I'm hanging out, I'm scoring, and I'm like, oh, my wife's like, oh, I can't stand that blue field. I'm like, oh man, I think it's cool.
I think you love it or you hate it. And I believe now it's grandfathered in. There's no sports teams, at least in the NCAA, that are allowed to have a field like that. So it's legendary. You got to love the Boise Broncos.
There is one other college team. It's in Washington, and I think it's in Eastern Washington, but they have a red field. It's kind of, it's got that it's bright red, and but that's what I remember. As far as with the University of Idaho, the Broncos and stuff. They always have they always have a pretty good team, and but let me tell you, I was a ski bum at University of Denver, and parents had a house up in Vail Forever. So Idaho has some awesome ski slopes. So just because you don't have some sports teams, man, you have some kicktail, downhill mountains that you can have some fun in. So, and it's beautiful.
You're exactly right. And I'm actually based in Sun Valley, Idaho, and that's
where come on.
Hempitecture is located. In fact, our offices are just a stone's throw away from some of the steepest ski slopes in North America. So when we're having a tough day in the office, a long day, grab the skis, grab the snowboard, go take a run, blow off some steam, get back to the office. The work-life balance, that's what it's all about, Dave.
Oh yeah, it's I'll tell you, I've skied every mountain in Colorado, and probably the steepest place that I ever skied was Telluride, and but Idaho, Sun Valley, Utah's cool, but the powder can get a little wet and heavy, and but one of my favorite places to ski was Whistler, and in Vancouver. And when I was on the road in my early days of my publishing career, I'd go out to Vancouver for the week, and I would go out early. So I would ski Saturday, Sunday, drive up US 1, beautiful ride. Haven't been out there forever, but it was beautiful. Single road each way, and you're looking at the water. And I'd ski Whistler one day, Blackcomb the next. But then during the week, I would run calls, but I had my skis in my car, and then I would ski. They have a couple of mountains you can ski at night: Grouse Mountain, Copper Bowl. And I forget what the other one, but you can oversee the channel and look down at the Vancouver downtown with all the lights. I mean, it was awesome, and I ski by myself. They were old chairlifts, they probably replaced them by now, but they're old wood chairlifts, two of them, and you're going up, and I'm skiing. I got my little Walkman on, with the big box, and people are laughing at me, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh man, I'm going skiing, man. I've run 5 calls today, man. It's time to go to the slopes, so
perfect.
Yeah. So, I did the snowboard thing. I'm a downhiller. I just didn't like the way the snowboard kind of hung on off the chairlift. I'm a downhiller. So
I've got lots of respect for skiers. Most of my friends are skiers. I myself am of the monoplank variety, so I'm a snowboarder. But we all get along at Sun Valley. That's a nice thing about It's a bipartisan mountain, definitely dominated by skiers, but no love lost for the snowboarders. So I feel well accepted there. And I will say, the steepness and my skier friends, they pushed me to be a better snowboarder, because skiers, they've got independent suspension. They can go fast. So they're cruising down the mountain. On a snowboard, you gotta learn to keep up or you get left behind. So it's made me a better snowboarder for
Let me
sure.
tell you, my wife and I, we took the snowboard class, and by noon, half the class dropped out because you fall a lot.
Oh,
But once you get the actual gig, point and the learning curve is like this. And I got on the chairlift and we're going down, and but you fall a lot. You get, you break some wrists and this and that. But I'm telling you, there was about maybe 10 or 12 people that were in our snowboard class, and by lunchtime, half of them said, "I'm going back to the skis, man. This is for the birds, man."
the first 2 days that you learn to snowboard, you will absolutely hate snowboarding. I can guarantee it. I actually was a snowboard instructor earlier in my life, and I only like to teach kids that were little because their bones are still rubber. Me today, at the ripe old age of 32, I cannot.
Oh, 32, you're a youngster. Come on. Oh, well, anyway, I did the snowboarding gig. I just didn't like the way that the board hung on the thing. But I did do it. But, when I was out, we had a house in Vail forever. So I learned how to ski in Buttermilk Mountain and way back when. And the snowboards were just coming in to play when I was in Denver in the 80s at University of Denver. And they were just starting to let the snowboarders kind of get on the mountain, or they'd have to find their own place to climb up or whatever. Now it's a mutual respect. You got to everybody's wearing helmets, they're being safe, and it's I got no problem with it. But like I said, I'm just a pure downloader. What's weird is, when I was skiing way back when, I was on 210s. Then, they went down to the short skis. Then they went to the fatties. Now they went to the shape skis, and it's all technology. And but I look back when I was skiing on the 210s, going through the bumps and stuff. And I have some killer video of me. Let me tell you, at University of Denver, during the winter, even though, hockey and lacrosse, the bottom line is you took classes Tuesdays and Thursdays because you wanted to ski Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And they had a thing called a Ski America card, and I could ski for $1. Loveland Pass, Arapahoe Basin, Mary Jane, Winter Park, and I could make it up there to I-70 from downtown. Well, University Park was just outside of downtown Denver where DU was, but I could probably make it up there in about 45 minutes. But for $1 during the week, you could go up there and ski, and I skied the glacier. Out there, and I did all that stuff, crazy stuff when I was out there. So,
David, I think you're gonna need to resurrect some of this ski footage. I think your followers are gonna want to see you hitting some moguls.
Let me tell you, I'm an excellent skier, and I've been on skis since I could walk. And there was some really good video. I have them on the, right when video cameras came out, they were on the tapes. I got to get it converted to a disc or whatever. But there was this one run we were skiing at. Not Snowmass. What's my favorite mountain in Aspen? Not Buttermilk, not Snowmass, not the Aspen Highlands. There's a run there. There's a bump run there, and you come down. And my wife was taking pictures, and I'm blowing through the bumps. And then you come to the end here, and there's a run called Thunderball, and you come down, bailing down the mountain, right into the old parking lot. It's an old place to ski, and so. Yeah, I got some good footage, no doubt, man. Hey, listen, I'll bring my boards out and we'll go skiing in Idaho, man. I'd love to go.
Let's do it.
I had both my ACLs replaced, but I'll be having the braces on, and I'll be ready.
You're ready to go. We'll get you on the mountain, and then we'll show you our brand new factory that is an hour and a half just south of Sun Valley.
I'm there. So the way we're going to do this, Mattie, is it's going to be in 3 parts. You're going to tell us your story, even though we know some of it already. Where you grew up, went to school, all that good stuff, and then how you ended up where you are today. Then we'll talk about the roller coaster after the last 30 months, and how you kind of navigated that, the rough seas and lessons learned and any new products. And then one positive thought or phrase that you can leave with our listeners and your contact info, and then we'll close it out. So with that said, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
The floor is mine. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks again, David. Having a blast here with you already. So looking forward to this conversation. I'm Mattie Mead. I'm the founder and CEO of Hempitecture, but I wasn't born the founder and CEO of Hempitecture. I grew up in northern New Jersey, not too far away from New York City. So when you said that you were in the Philadelphia area, David, New Jersey kind of has that dividing line. There's North Jersey and there's South
Yeah,
Jersey.
they should be two separate states.
I'm a North Jersey guy. Please don't hold it against me. I won't hold it against you.
Hey,
Uh,
I went to prep school in New Jersey, right in the middle at the Petty School, exit 8 off the
it's a great
in
school.
Hightstown. So I went to Petty, and Blair was our big, but we used to play all, Huntington Central and all the northern, high schools and stuff. So very familiar. I have a ton of my friends that are up in North Jersey, and I still have a lot of friends down South Jersey too. So, but I always thought, listen, it should have been two states.
Two states, 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe in a future election, there'll be a resolution to formally split the state. But yeah, so you mentioned Petty. I actually went to a small school that I was very, very fortunate to go to, the Del Barton School.
Oh, Del Barton, arch rival there too.
Our
I know
tribal,
well.
exactly right. And I grew up playing soccer and lacrosse and just love sports, but not only was I really into sports, lacrosse was my focus. I also really, really loved art, and that passion for art translated to my college experience, which was at Hobart and William Smith colleges in Geneva, New
Oh my
York.
God, I got recruited by Hobart to play lacrosse.
Okay, one of the only D1 lacrosse programs at a D3 school.
Yeah,
That's a big deal.
yeah.
They're today, even they're still top. Their lacrosse program is top notch.
You know what's funny is I was going when I moved, sold my house last year. I was going through all my old stuff, and I found my letter from Hobart that they had sent me and said, "Hey, David, nice job, blah blah blah. We see you're a hockey lacrosse player. We love you to come up and check the campus out and this and that." And a couple of my friends were going out to DU, and they were like, "Dude, go out there, man. You're going to start in the lacrosse team. You can go, be a walk-on on the hockey team, and your parents have a house in Vail, So, I like upstate New York, and I like Hunter Mountain, right outside the city,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not the back bowls in China Bowl or."
No, it's not. And I will say, after 4 years in Geneva, which by the way, I love Geneva,
Yeah,
Hobart,
New York.
cool. It's Geneva, New York, a great town. Actually, really, I would say emerging, kind of coming back into itself. Lots of new industry and things moving there. The winters are hard fought. It is cold, dark, and windy, and it's kind of cruel almost. I felt you arrive to campus in September, you get 2 nice weeks of summer, then the gray, windy winter sets in, and it's not really until April or May that the sun pokes back out, and they're saying, okay, now go back home, go back to wherever you came from. So some hard fought winters up at HWS, but I had such a great experience there. Didn't play sports in college, but that passion and interest in art translated into focusing on architecture. For me, in my mind, architecture is a practical application of art in the real world. It's design. It's realizing a vision, putting it on paper, and then bringing it to something that exists in the world. And so during my time at HWS, I kind of got ahead in my studies a little bit in architecture because I went there and I jumped right in. I loved it, and it allowed me to get to study a few different other things. I minored in studio art as well as environmental sciences. And so my senior year of college, I actually came up with the concept of Hempitecture, my business today, through a thesis study that I did that was titled The Contemporary Relevance of Earth Architecture. Basically, I just was looking at what did people build with before we invented the modern materials of today. And so my studies took me metaphorically across the globe to Japan, to South America, to the southwest of the United States, and even up into Scotland and France and the UK, and just took into consideration, okay, what were we building with? Most of the times it was earth. It was the materials that were available around the location that people were trying to build their homes. And I was really amazed that in France, Belgium, and even actually in Japan, they were using industrial hemp as a building material. And I kind of had this moment of why industrial hemp, what is industrial hemp? And it didn't take very long to find out that in the United States at this time, which is 2012, 2013, industrial hemp was a Schedule 1 substance. So the contrarian in me said, why is it a Schedule 1 substance? It's not THC, it's not cannabis, it's not a drug. And there's a long mired history with industrial hemp. And it's a really interesting history, and we don't probably have time to go into the nuts and bolts of it. But the long story short is that in 2018, the government separated out industrial hemp from THC producing cannabis and recognized it for what it is, an agricultural commodity that can provide opportunity for farmers in rural areas across America. So this opportunity was restored in 2018. And when I was on stage at the pitch contest at Hobart College in 2013, I was saying hemp building materials are the future. We're going to take industrial hemp and we're going to turn it into building materials. We're going to make insulation from industrial hemp. And I was laughed at, David. People were like, what is this guy talking about? Industrial hemp, it's illegal. How are we going to make building materials out of it? So fast forward, Hempitecture, the concept was born during my time at college, but it wasn't until 2014, around 2015, that I had the opportunity to move to Idaho to build a proof of concept project utilizing the materials that my thesis study ended up being focused on, earthen, hemp-based building materials. So was not a ski bum per se when I got called out to Idaho, but I found out that in Sun Valley, the mountain is 5 minutes away from the town, and I'd be building a proof of concept house that would form the foundation of my business. And I fell in love with Idaho. So that's my Idaho story. That's how a New Jersey kid ended up in Idaho, getting the chance to build a hempcrete building in Idaho.
Nice. Hey, that's an. Well, what position did you play in lacrosse? Were you
Okay, so I'm sitting down right now. You can't probably tell, but I'm relatively short statured gentleman. I was a SPOGO specialist, David. Face
Oh,
off, get off, low center of gravity, get in there, very technical, quick hand skills. And that was my role at Delbarton. I would just take face-offs, win the face-off,
get
pass
on.
the ball off to a teammate, and then go hang out on the sideline and grab some Gatorade.
Yeah. In my day, in the 80s, when I was playing, Pogos didn't exist. It was like, you go for it, and now it's a technical thing.
Totally.
And possession is all about, listen, if you have the ball, you can't get scored on. It's just the
Exactly.
reality of it. So
It's like special teams in other sports. As sports evolve, things get more technical and positions get more specific. That was kind of the beginning of that when I was in high school.
that's awesome. A Delbartonite, unbelievable. I mean, well, it was like Lawrenceville was our arch rivals, at Blair, but we played Delbarton and the Hun and Princeton Day, and you know them all.
I know them all. Our rival was Seton Hall, which
Oh
was
yeah, ooh, Seton Hall. Yeah.
a reputable school without a doubt. But gosh, they were our arch nemesis back in the day.
Yeah. Oh God, you're bringing back memories, and uh, oh, I could talk prep school stuff all day long. I just made it through. I was a four-year boarder, and I didn't get kicked out. So making it
Hey,
through
that's a win.
Yeah, if you went to prep school, you know what I'm talking about. Making it as a four-year boarder and not getting kicked out if you were a bad boy, which I probably was. I'm letting some skeletons out, but I didn't get kicked out, So and some of my friends did, and but I did make it through, and it was like one of the best times I had. When I went to college, I was like, I already been to college. I was at prep school for 4 years. Going to college, people had never lived home. I lived away for 4 years, so it was crazy. So let's talk about like the last 30 months. So 2020, everything's cranking. March comes up, everything gets shut down. I don't know if the mountains got shut down or not, but who knows? A lot of them did, and no one knew what was going on. So talk about that whole from the shutdown to, the roller coaster to the opening up, how you weathered the storm, and, maybe even brought some of your, your Fogo special, tea, into it to say, hey man, we gotta be flexible. We gotta be able to turn on a dime and figure things out, And I always like talking to sports people because
Mhm.
sports guys know winning and losing, and they know how you have to, hey, we practice all week doing it one way, but we're getting our tails kicked and we got to regroup to if we're gonna win this game at the end. So
The yeah, you bring up a great point there. The whole last few years and the uncertainty, that uncertainty for our business at least presented an opportunity, and that opportunity was actually, instead of letting up or going in a different direction, it was to throttle down. It was to move forward and move forward faster. And there was a few reasons for that. Our business was growing up until that time point, and we really shifted our focus away from the hempitecture concept that was presented when I was a college student and pitching on stage in 2013. We pivoted our business model away towards a product, and that product is insulation, hemp-based insulation, using the fiber from industrial hemp to create insulation. So during that roller coaster ride, prices changed in orders of magnitude that no one could ever have predicted. So, for instance, the price of importing a container of building materials to resell in the United States, as we had been doing, it didn't double, it tripled, it quadrupled in some senses. The supply chain vulnerabilities became so blaringly obvious. We had to raise our prices for our hemp insulation. We had to increase our lead times. I think even companies today are still feeling the impacts of lead times and how that's affected the construction industry. We saw crazy swings in commodity prices. So the uncertainty that we were presented with left us with no other choice but to throttle down and move forward and get faster further. And how would we do that, David? We decided to onshore the manufacturing process of the building material that we were importing. We said we can't be beholden to the cost swings of a freight provider one day saying it's going to cost $2,000 to the next day, actually it's $8,000. We have to build that cost into the unit margins that we're selling to our customers. And so by importing a product, it just really highlighted the vulnerabilities that I think not just the building materials industry faces, but collectively as a society we face by being relying on international supply chains. So we use that as a time to think inward and really strategize about how we would do this. How are we going to bring this manufacturing technology that takes industrial hemp fiber and converts it into an insulation product comparable to mineral wool or fiberglass with the same or even better performance ratings and follows all US codes? So we did this research and we launched a fundraising campaign. We actually raised almost $5 million to deploy towards the first non-woven manufacturing facility in the United States. Here's a crazy story for you, David. I went to Italy when the international borders were closed. I was probably the only one of the only Americans in Italy at the time. And I went there because the Italians make incredible machinery. And so I was working with a company based in Italy to custom design machinery purpose built for manufacturing insulation using natural fibers. You might say, why Italy? Well, they have a huge fashion industry there. Fashion and clothing is all made
it's all textiles. Mm-hmm.
It's all textiles, and textiles is all fiber. And so they are geniuses when it comes to working with fiber. So we saw a lot of benefits in hemp fiber as an insulating fiber, as a carbon negative fiber, as a moisture absorbing, yet also vapor permeable fiber, which makes it resistant to mold. So I was in Italy. The borders were closed. I walked around the Florence area, the Duomo, the Palazzo de Medici, the only person on the streets. It was incredible. But went on that trip to Italy, submitted a purchase order for machinery that arrived this past June. Since June, we've been setting up this manufacturing line. And actually right now, as we speak, we have a gentleman from Italy in our factory right now, an electrician who is setting up the final control components, the PLCs, the final wiring. And we are just about ready to pull the lever on producing this product in the United States for the very first time. No other
That's
company.
exciting. That's like you know, a pair of new skis that you know, are coming off the you know, the first one off the production line. That's just, you know,
Oh my gosh, it's like Christmas and a birthday all in one.
that's an awesome story. I mean, listen, just traveling during that time period is was, you know, listen, I'm a million miler. I didn't go anywhere, and
Mhm.
but you know, being overseas, you know, you were lucky you even got back in the country. You know.
Oh, it was like breaking into Fort Knox and leaving with a brick of gold. I mean, in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, I had to have all this paperwork and testing, and let's just say it wasn't easy. But I had an exemption from the Italian government because I was there for essential business. And
Hmm.
so, while the world was slowing down, economies still need to keep moving. And as a startup company, you can either decide to slow down and die, or throttle down and see the light at the end of the tunnel and try and get there. And we're very, very fortunate to have taken those risks. And they were big risks. I mean, we actually purchased the machinery using founder capital before we even fundraised the $5 million needed to actually pay for the machinery once it all arrived and was set up. So that's the crux of where we're at today, David. We're really, really excited to have taken advantage of that time and to be looking forward into 2023, where we're producing sustainable, fireproof, mold resistant, carbon negative insulation that starts with a seed. Our money for our materials, it's going to farmers. It's going into rural communities across the United States, their pockets and into their communities. In turn, we get to produce a sustainable material that works for both residential and commercial construction.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we put a cannabis section in the magazine as things kind of have been opening up here in the States, and not here in Georgia yet, but you know, eventually it'll be defederalized, and the cannabis is like the wild, wild west. But everybody, you know, kind of had a phobia about cannabis. Oh, they're going to be these dungy stores, whatever. They're some of the most beautiful stores that you can imagine. They're like jewelry stores because they still have
Mhm,
to take all the, you know, merchandise, put it in the safe. They've got the regulations, but
mhm,
a lot of buildings have been reused to rebuild these things, and
mhm,
uh, we just figured, you know what, we're going to put it in there. It's one of the hottest sections that
mhm,
we have in
mhm,
our magazine these days, and um, it you know, hemp. I always knew about hemp, so you know, from, you know, I knew about, you know, people were using it for, you know, apparel, whatever,
mhm,
you know.
mhm.
And I remember Elaine on Seinfeld had her hemp dress from the guy she was working with, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Peter.
yeah, Peterman. Yeah, well, you got the hemp dress, you know. So anyway, you know, it goes way, way back, and but you know, the whole thing, you know, with farming, you know, and, you know, cannabis or whatever it might be, if you can, you know, get the, you know, keep the locals manufacturing, and then you have that machine that you got your, you know, your eyes set on, that's what you wanted. Uh, that, you know, I remember when 9/11 happened and I quit Nielsen and I went out on my own. So I totally understand where you're coming from as an entrepreneur. You're like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm going to roll
Mhm,
the dice. 9 out of 10
mhm,
businesses don't make it. All the doggy downers are saying, you know, don't quit, don't quit. And I was like,
mhm,
nope, I'm going to do it. And you never know when. Listen, I did it right. I resigned from Nielsen in December 17, 2001, right
mhm,
after 9/11. I was in New York, you know, during, you know, for that
mhm,
day. I had to drive back to Atlanta, and uh, you know, you never know when you got to do it, you know. And it's one of those
mhm,
things that you can look back and say, if I didn't do it, I would have been hating myself for the rest of my life,
mhm,
because it was just a timing issue. You know, you just gotta, you know, you gotta believe in yourself, and
mhm.
you know, kind of like a lacrosse game. You know, hey, we're down 5 goals, man. It's the fourth quarter, but hey, man, lacrosse is a fast game. You can knock down 5 goals in, like, you know,
Come back
2 minutes.
quick.
Yeah, you just got to get the ball. and do something with it, put the rock in the net. So
Mhm.
I give you credit, by first of all for going through all that to get the machine, but now you're ready to pull the plug. You got to take a video of that, man, when the first piece of product comes off of there, man. I'd love to see that. That you know.
It's going to be soon, and I'll absolutely share it with you. And if you want to share it with your followers, would love for them to join on and see. It's a really exciting moment. And I just also have to give credit to our team. It's not just me. Behind me and with me, there's a whole group of team members that are making this all happen and bringing this to fruition. And there were conversations. Is this crazy? Are we walking ourselves into a bankruptcy? And time will only tell. We think that we have a really compelling product. We think that there's tailwinds behind us that are going to really enable adoption of our materials in both commercial and residential construction. And we think that the roller coaster ride and everything that's happened over the last few years has highlighted just how much time people spend indoors. We spend over 90% of our lives indoors. Why not have our indoor environments be sanctuaries, have them be places we want to spend time, put materials in them that we want to be surrounded in. And really that's the epitome of our product, HempWool. It's a healthy, easy to use, not itchy, scratchy material that you can handle without gloves. I mean, what's not to love about that?
Well, your timing's perfect because guess what? I have my HVAC energy controls survey coming up. So when I get done, I'm going to send you the link to fill it out so you can get your Hempitecture listed in the report for next week's issue. So there you go. Boom.
Do it. Boom.
So, listen to the story, kind of, you probably put so many, adjectives on, what you went through. But if there was one positive thought or phrase that you would want to leave with our listeners, with all the things that you went through and where you're at today, ready to pull the lever, to get the machine running and watch the things come off the production line, what would it be?
If I could sum it up in one word, David, it would be tenacity. Not giving up, being persistent, and that all leads back to having tenacity. On a personal level and as a business owner, I've had to have tenacity. My team members have had to have tenacity to encourage us to keep going and moving forward in the face of things going sideways, things not happening how we would like them to happen. And everything happens for a reason, David. The opportunities that have presented themselves over the last few years, maybe they wouldn't have presented themselves had other things in the world not happened. And so we are at where we are today, launching a US manufacturing facility with US grown materials because of the tenacity of our team.
Hey, I love it. Tenacity. It's in my vocabulary. It's in my DNA. And like I always say, get her done. No matter what it is, get her done. You can win ugly. You can win pretty. It's still a W. So it doesn't matter. But I love it. Tenacity. Did you ever hear about there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk? Tenacity. And well, I'm going to take that one to the bank. So if anybody listening out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk today, if they wanted to get in touch with you, and discuss, how they would, incorporate hemp, into any of their new commercial projects, renovations, whatever it might be, how would they reach out to you?
First place to go is hempitecture.com. It's like hemp architecture, hempitecture.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I post all the time. I love to interact with other people in the professional world who are working on building projects. So my LinkedIn name, it's Mattie, Mattie, Mead, Mead. So send me a friend request, follow me, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk more about your project and see how we can work together to incorporate insulation that's sustainable, safe to touch, good for you, your workers, and the planet in your future project.
Awesome. Hey, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'm at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, up on the toolbar and menu bar, hit subscribe. We'd love to have you be a subscriber. Listen, I know you hate me saying this, but if you don't buy a ticket for the lottery, you can't win. So if you don't send me something, I don't care if it's a new product on Hempitecture or a charity, or you do a golf tournament, you got new personnel, new case study, send me it. We've got millions and millions of people coming to our website every month. I just launched the new site. It looks awesome. And love some feedback from you too. I've got thick skin. I'm a lacrosse player, hockey player. He knows what I'm talking about. You get whacked on your hand, your arms, and whatever. So, but we think it was a long time coming, and it's finally up there. And got some new bells and whistles that I'm still going to add in on the digital side. But we'd love to know about it, and we'll find a place for it. Very tough to get in the magazine, but we got plenty of social media, etc. We post every day, and we'd love to hear from you and help you get the word out. And it's a win-win. I post it, boom, I send you the link, share it, and it's good for all of our SEO. So, well, Mattie, it's been a pleasure. I want to get something real quick. I want to show this to you. Love this. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
My petty lacrosse stick.
Oh, come on.
Look at this. And it's when they dyed them. So actually, but this was my lacrosse stick way back when. And
you've got the leather.
And it's leather.
Yeah, that's how you know it's official. You got the leather, you got the custom dye job with the school name on top, STX brand.
I was never a Brian guy. STX always. STX.
Let me see the side profile of it. Was that an X2?
Oh, I have no idea. This is years and years ago, but yeah.
I love it.
I normally have them hanging up on my wall, and let me see if the other one's here. Hold on. Let's see if the other one's here. I don't know where the other one. Oh, here it is. All right, so here, my Denver stick.
Yes.
This one got some action. Actually, they're getting tight because they haven't. But it's amazing. Lacrosse is the fastest sport on 2 feet. When I was playing, tube socks, tight shorts, wooden shafts. Actually, these are the first aluminum ones. But now, the equipment has changed. There's face-off sticks and all that stuff. But you know what? It's still played the same way.
Exactly.
And the technology's changed. But it's still played the same way. So
and these kids that are playing lacrosse today in college, they're at such a higher level. It's just so unbelievable to see how the sport's progressed. It's awesome.
I still play in the old guys league, and I'm board member. It's called OGL, Old Guy Lacrosse.
Yes.
And, my team's name is called Grog, Gwinnett Really Old Guys. And I'm 59. I'm still, I tell my wife, look, Gordie Howe played till he was 63. So as long as I had both my ACLs replaced. So I said, look, as long as I can run up and down the field, my glory days are over. I've scored plenty of goals in my life. So, and I play backup goalie. I play D. I can play anything. So, as the team manager. So, sometimes we don't have enough players, and during the summer, people are, traveling with their kids, club team and all that stuff. But, it's a good, during the winter, it's a little relaxed. During the summer, got the summer tournament, gets very chippy. And and on my team, I want you to know this. Look up this guy. He's probably, you will find him. His name is Mike DiMaria, and he played at Hobart. His name was number 22. His number was 22, but he's I'm 59. He's probably like in his early 50s. And Pete, if I got that wrong, I'm calling you an old man. But he was unbelievable. And awesome lacrosse player. And anyway, Pete DiMaria, look him up.
He's in the Hall of Fame at Hobart.
He is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can actually look me up at University of Denver. If you go into the lacrosse portal on the website, you can go into the archives and you can look me up, and there I'll be. And I go by David, but they have me as Dave Corson, 81, 84. But my highlight was when DU won the national championship, and they beat the Terrapins in Philly in 2015. I took my son out to alumni weekend, and I played in the alumni game, and went to the dinner. Didn't see my lacrosse coach since 1984. I'm walking up the stairs, and I said, "Hey, Coach Strasburger." And he turned around. He's like, "Corson, I thought you'd be in jail by now," And so I got a picture with him, and we watched them get their rings. And the next day, they had the top 150 15-year-olds across the country at the DU camp. And so my son brought a stick, so I got him into to do the for the camp. Anyway, he's like, Dad, I don't have a Nike World bag. I don't have this. I'm just a Georgia cornhole with a deep hole. I'm like, Brody, I was just playing with Westberg and JoJo Marasco. They let me start in the game, and you can catch a throw as just good as any of these other guys. So you don't have a World bag for Nike. You just got to go out there and play. So in the afternoon they had scrimmages, and he ate up some of these guys.
Good for him.
And it was really cool to see it. But one of the coolest things that DU did, and we're going to finish this out because we're running out of time, but they gave the national rings to everybody. I don't care if you were the assistant, janitor or equipment guy, or whatever you were. If you were associated with the team, you got that ring. And and like when hockey, we didn't have a football team, we had a hockey team. So the hockey team was like the big guys on campus. Lacrosse, we had to clean up the arenas to raise money to go travel and stuff. So and Coach Tierney, you know who he is.
Oh yeah.
So Coach Tierney said, look, there's people in the audience out there that don't have these rings, and all you guys are getting the rings. That's why we have all the old pictures on all the tables. Those are the guys that you should thank, because they built this program so you had the opportunity to win it. And
awesome.
It was an amazing thing. It was one of the proudest things. And I'm a true PIO, and I donate, and I'm really tight with the coaching staff there. I send emails and watch all the games, but it was a great experience. But I always laugh. I'm like, hey man, there you go, baby. And Del Barton, know him well, and I was captain of the hockey team at Petty, and so it. Like I said, I could talk prep school with you all day long. So
well, you got 2 lacrosse sticks there. So next time I'm in Georgia, we're gonna have.
Oh no, man! I got the pitch back, and believe me, we can. I live up by the lake. We're going skiing. We got the boat. We're going skiing. We'll do some slaloming, and I got wetsuits. I ski all the way up into December. So
let's do it.
All right. Well, everybody out there, Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Think hemp. Call Mattie out in Idaho. Maybe you can go out and talk business on the chairlift. No better place, a little, get your bands on and your Varnays and, a little suntan lotion. So keep yourself safe. And everybody got Thanksgiving coming up, got Hanukkah, Christmas, the holidays, shutting 2022 down, and 2023 is, listen, this year is just going by. I'm mentally drained. So much has happened. And I'm looking forward to the end of the year, recharge my battery, and then do it all over again. So with that said, stay safe out in that construction site. Make sure you drink lots of water, stay hydrated. And Mattie, I look forward to meeting you in person. And I'm taking you up on that ski gig, man. I'll bring my boots out, but I'm going to rent some boards. I always like to bring my own boots out. So it's like skates. I gotta have my own skates on.
Exactly.
But you come here, we'll throw. We'll throw the rock around, or we'll go up on the lake and we'll do some soloing. So fair enough. So Mattie, say goodbye from Boston.
Adios, everybody. Thanks so much, David, for the opportunity. So much fun just chatting with you here today, sharing what you're doing. And to all the listeners out there, be well, take care, and hope to hear from you soon.
And I'm going to say goodbye just below the Buford Dam on Lake Lanier in Sugar Hill, Georgia. And we will see you next time on another episode of Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. And Mattie, safe travels out there, all right? We'll talk to you.
Bye.
See you.